Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to teach you one really simple but powerful technique that will help you to instantly recognise when the scene in front of you will make a great photo, cutting out all of the distractions of the wider view. And no, it's not the rule of thirds or any of those compositional templates, but it's something that the pros use all of the time, but it's rarely something that's taught at any length. But it will work for any subject in any type of light. Many photographers, especially beginners, struggle with these 5 points that you can see here. And this rule, or technique if you like, will offer a foundation for more compelling and personal images. And it will do that by addressing these 5 points without you even realising it. So I'm going to propose a really simple trick that has the potential to transform your photography. With a bit of self-belief and the application of some discipline, you'll see noticeable improvements in just days or weeks, not months or years. And stay until the end of the video for a bonus tip to help you build this into your photography straight away. To demonstrate the principle of what I want to teach you, I'm going to use Google Street View, because not long ago I was stood here in this very spot and employed this rule to create this photo from this overall scene. Google's Street View gives you a great impression of what I saw when I was actually there, because it gives you such a wide angle shot that it's included what would have been my peripheral vision around here and what would have been my direct vision around here as well. When you're actually there in a scene like this, you have to find that one nugget of gold that really stands out. But you've got 360 degrees worth of potential choices for a photograph in every location that you stand in that is constantly changing as you move around. And you have to find that golden nugget. But luckily for us, it is kind of hiding in plain sight. Beginners often rely on composition rules without understanding the emotional connection to their photos. They second guess their instincts. But by starting with a gut feeling, what I call the moment of inspiration, you can cut through the noise and make more confident, creative decisions. And it's that moment of inspiration that I want to teach you. That's the rule and that's the technique. And that's where the magic of all of this lies. And it should be the heart of every photograph that you take. And that moment of inspiration is where you come across a scene or a landscape, randomly or otherwise, and then suddenly without warning there's a feeling. And that feeling makes you think or say, I bet that would make a good photo, or something like that. Something in your mind just clicks, and then suddenly, without even thinking, you just know there's something special about it. It's that gut reaction that draws you in before you even raise the camera. And that's the moment of inspiration. And that happens to everyone. Like I mean everyone. And I know that it's happened to you. And so do you know that it's also happened to you. But it's all about how to harness that and make it work for your photography. And what non-photographers do, because literally everyone has this feeling from time to time, is to raise up their smartphone, point it at the thing that gave them that feeling, and then click the shutter without giving it another thought. And they get something like this. And then I turn up, I apply this one trick, the moment of inspiration, and then I end up with this. And the single biggest difference between the good and the bad is merely the behaviour of the photographer immediately after having that moment of inspiration, that gut feeling, that moment, and you know that you've had it too. The moment of inspiration is the foundation for every good or great photo. When you trust your instincts, you simplify your decisions and zero in on the most compelling part of the scene. And when you have that moment, you have to lock onto that moment and not let go. That moment is where the photograph lies, and don't let distractions pull you away. Work out what triggered the moment of inspiration, then start physically composing your image. And you must not waver and you must not doubt yourself. Once you're in that position, it's time to ask yourself a few key questions to focus in on that moment. My bonus tip later in the video will reveal the 2 essential questions that are so simple they're almost unbelievable. But with a bit of discipline, this approach will work every time. From there, you can create a compelling, visually appealing photo. It's a repeatable process that works in any situation, regardless of lighting. And then the main questions are, what objects should be in the frame and what objects should be left out? Identify your subject and trust your instincts. Don't overthink it and be totally selfish. Your gut feeling will always be right. Do things instinctively rather than mechanically. And that is a moment of inspiration, the most important rule, trick, tip or process in the whole of photography, because that's where the instinctive, intuitive photos come from. They will be your best and favourite photos. And this is how the greats of photography take their photos. They have a natural born ability and they do everything by instinct and gut feeling and having the confidence to believe in those feelings. And they don't listen to anyone else, not in that moment they don't. And you need to do the same. And so, you can take this little thing, this moment of inspiration, and add it to your armoury of processes and techniques. And as a believer in evolution, not revolution, my advice is to slowly build this technique into your existing picture making process. And if you're doing something similar already, then emphasise it a little more. Allow it to grow and have more influence over your decision making processes. And with all of that, why not go out of your house right now and just go for a little stroll, and with whatever camera you have, and a smartphone will be fine, just chill out and relax and walk around and look around and let those moments of inspiration come to you. It's about getting that feeling. Don't force a situation, but when you get a moment of inspiration, which may just be a tiny speck of a moment, very faint, or it may be a full-blown adrenaline type moment, you need to stop at that moment and from that moment create your photograph. And yes, there are a whole load of processes after the moment of inspiration to help you build your composition. But right now, just start applying this one thing into your photography and let it slowly grow and develop. And tell me in the comments below how it went. Did you get something you liked? Did anything happen? Did nothing happen? Maybe you captured something different to what you normally would. And as time goes on and you become more familiar with the process, you'll find that those moments get more frequent and you tune into a more intuitive way of taking photos. Anyway, let me know in the comments exactly what you think. All opinions are welcome. And here's that promised little bonus tip. When you have that moment of inspiration, how do you work out what the subject is? So once you have that moment of inspiration, you need to ask yourself two questions. Firstly, what is the photograph of? And you base the answer of that question solely on the moment of inspiration, nothing else. Don't get distracted. And secondly, where do you want the viewer's eye to be led when viewing the photo for the first time? In this street view photo, this is my moment of inspiration. And so is my subject here or here? No, obviously it's not in any of those locations. This is my subject, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says, not in that moment. There will be many other photos to be had in this very picturesque area, but when you get a moment of inspiration, none of that matters, not until you've taken your photo. Then you can move on and experience more of those moments in the landscape that you're in. So the answers to those two questions will tell you exactly what and where the subject is. And if you still want more, outside of YouTube, I also offer a 6-hour course on composition, which will teach you everything you need to know about creating perfect compositions for every scene that you photograph. And then I have a set of Lightroom presets to create that muted colours atmospheric look. Both these products will be listed in the descriptions of each video, including this one, at a discounted price exclusively for my YouTube viewers. And if you want to know exactly what happens after you've had that moment of inspiration, so that you get your compositions just right, then you need to watch this video right here, where I tell you exactly what happens next.